Welcome to Wanderlust and Wishes, the podcast where we explore the world one destination at a time.
I'm Julie.
And I'm Krystle.
As travel agents with fantastical vacations, we are here to share our passion for travel and help you turn your wanderlust into reality.
From hidden gems to bucket list adventures, join us as we dive into the sights, sounds, and stories of our favorite destinations.
So grab your passport, pack your bags, and let's embark on this journey together. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 7 of Wanderlust and Wishes. We're excited to have you with us this week. We have returned and somewhat recovered from our fantastic agency trip from last week. And let's get into some news.
First off, we have Disney promotions and holiday announcements. There's a lot, guys, so just bear with us. I think we're going to do like a full episode on this. But basically, you can save up to 30% on Disney World rooms this fall and through the holidays on select rooms for stays most nights from November 24th to December 25th. And there are also special savings on stays from Sunday to Thursday nights from October 6th to November 21st. And when you book one of these discounts along with non-discounted 4-day or longer date-based theme park tickets, you will receive a free park hopper benefit, which allows you to go visit multiple parks on the same day, which is a huge cost savings.
Like Krystle mentioned, we are going to cover all of the holiday announcements. There's a ton of stuff that's going to be coming back, including Jollywood Nights and Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. We'll talk about that, those dates, and some of the details of the other things coming back in a future episode. It's just a lot to cover in only the news. So another huge update that came out right in the middle of all of the agents being at Disney World. And of course, we're all like scrambling, trying to make sure that we have the information out to our clients and getting the news posted. The Genie Plus program is going to be completely revamped to be called the Multi-Pass Lightning Lane for Genie Plus, and then Single Pass Lightning Lane for the individual Lightning Lane program. So everything's being rebranded to either Multi-Pass or Single Pass. This changeover begins on July 24th. Some of the details, if you're a resort guest, a Walt Disney World resort guest, you can purchase it up to 7 days prior to your check-in date. If you're a non-Disney resort guest, it's 3 days prior to the first date of your dated ticket. So there's that benefit of staying on site. So when you do purchase it, you're going to be allowed to pick 3 lightning lanes, and this is for the multi-pass, 3 lightning lanes per park. You need to have your first park or whatever the park is that you're going to use the lightning lanes, like you need to have, like you can only do the one. So you can't do, I want to purchase, or I was going to say Genie Plus. It's going to take a minute. You can't purchase the multi-pass for a day that you're planning to do Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios and pick 2 of your lightning lanes at Magic Kingdom and 1 of your lightning lanes at Hollywood Studios. You have to start at one park, and that's where all of the lightning lanes will be selected. Once you get to your first park and you use one of those lightning lanes, you can do what you do now, like where you use one, you can pick another one. So you still have that functionality. The other thing that they're doing, and this is very similar to the way that FastPass was set up, there's tiers in Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and Magic Kingdom, not in Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom, everything's grouped together. But basically, you're going to have a tier 1 that's going to have a couple of the more popular rides. And then tier 2 is going to be the ones that don't, they're not as popular, or they're not going to be as much in demand as tier 1 rides. So that will be in place. For the single pass Lightning Lane program, you will be able to purchase that ahead of time as well. And you can pick up to 2 single pass lightning lanes, just like you can now. The good thing about both of these is that you will be able to see what's available before you purchase. that has been one of the complaints, is that I buy Genie Plus and then I can't get anything. And so it was like useless to me. So now you are able to see what is available beforehand before you buy. For Disneyland, they are going to be rebranding, but otherwise it is going to work exactly the same as it does now, where you can purchase it with your ticket and you won't be able to select your first lightning lane until you're on site at the parks.
Which I'm okay with out there.
Yeah, because it's working well.
Yes, it does work well.
Working very well at Disneyland. It was not working at Disney World. And so they really needed a change. And there's been so much feedback. They've done tons of surveys. I mean, if you've been to Disney World within the last year or 2 years, like they've been asking very pointed questions about this type of thing because they knew that it wasn't working and that they needed to do something. And so they kind of are doing sort of a hybrid of the current Genie Plus system and the old Fast Pass system. And of course you have to pay for it when you didn't have
They're
to pay
never
for
going
Fast
back.
Pass.
Yeah, they're never going back to free.
No, they're never going to. I mean, that cat's out of the bag. That's not going back in. And speaking of pricing, we do not know how the pricing is going to work. We can obviously speculate that it's going to be dynamic and that it's going to probably be based on the time of year or the time, if there's more demand, XYZ. We don't know. We'll know more about that, obviously, on July 24th. And when we do our holiday update, which should be around that time, we'll update you on the way that the pricing is working. And as always with Disney, they could do something that first week and completely change it after that because it's not working. I will say that they're very good at when they do something and it doesn't work, they listen to feedback and they give you, another solution. So
stay with us.
yeah,
We're gonna learn and then
Stay
let you
tuned.
know.
We're also going to do in our next episode, there have been a lot of updates about Universal Orlando and their new park, Epic Universe. So also kind of stay tuned and bear with us. There's a lot of information coming out in both the Disney and Universal realms. We are going to cover Universal in our next episode and go over our post-trip report, and we'll cover some information on Epic Universe, basically what we know up until now.
There's a lot to unpack there too.
Right.
There's just so much information, guys. We could do an episode every day of the week and still not cover everything.
I know. Well, lately there's been so much information dropping that it's like we're trying to just keep up with everything that's coming out and making sure that, we are trying to post as much as we can on our Instagram account to keep you updated with things. But from an episode perspective, it's hard to make sure that you're making sure that the things are timely. So,
and you can always email us or send us a direct message and we can chit chat that way. I think our email is in the show notes. So
yes, absolutely. Yeah.
That way.
Or DM us at the Wanderlust and Wishes podcast on Instagram. Yeah, we would love to help and answer your questions. So today we're going to kind of change gears. We're going to switch gears a little bit away from Universal and Disney. And we're going to talk about Krystle's trip to the all-inclusive resort in Mexico. She went like basically the week before our agency trip and was able to experience some really fun things. So I'm going to just be asking her some questions and she's going to let me know what her thoughts are. You ready?
Okay. So to start out, I went to Cancun. It was the week of like June 17th. And I was invited by the RCD hotel group. Basically, it's what they call a FAM, which is like a familiarization trip. They had a group of 10 travel agents, and we got to tour and check out a bunch of their hotels in the area. So they have Hard Rock Cancun, Hard Rock Riviera Maya. They have a brand new one called Ava, which is in Cancun. And then we stayed at UNICO 2087, also in Riviera Maya. UNICO and Ava are their very own creations, own brand. And they have some really good things going for them. And I was excited to check them out. I've quoted them a lot and I've done a lot of research on all of them. the Hard Rock Riviera Maya is actually one of the top rated family friendly all inclusives in all of Mexico. So
Nice.
just to go there and see what all the hype is about was really fun. I flew in June 17th, which is like a Monday. Doing customs internationally by myself was a bit nerve wracking, but they had a little guy at the airport pick me up and take me to the hotel, and it's about an hour drive, but
Okay.
it is included for two round trip hotel to airport transportation.
Okay.
So that is nice.
What about how did you do obviously I know it's included, but what did you do for like the tipping situation when you were tipping? Did you tip the driver or is there tipping that you do for your entire, are you able to include it for your entire visit and it automatically includes your driver or is that separate?
So it's not quite like cruising where you can like prepay your gratuities.
Mm-hmm.
I tipped him a couple bucks, and then like bartenders, restaurants tipped a couple bucks here and there for everything.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also Mexico, so a dollar goes a very long way.
Yeah.
So I am not a drinker. Me getting a couple drinks of something compared to the other people in my group getting drinks for something, like our tipping scale would have been a lot different because I probably didn't spend $20 on tips the entire time I was there, where
Mm-hmm.
they could have spent $50 in tips.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So there's not like a tipping policy or anything like there is with a cruise line.
No, it's kind of to your discretion. I do have like a little cheat sheet that I can share with clients that it's like the do's and don'ts. Like
Mm-hmm.
tip your driver, tip your wait staff, tip the guy, your bellman that brings your bags to your room.
Yeah. And like you
And
said, they don't make a lot of money. When they're being tipped, it means a lot to them for you to give them that money.
yes. So the thing about Unico is it is a very, they call it all inclusive redefined, more of like a modern meet modern Mexico face to face is basically what they say. So I felt like it was very boutique-ish,
Okay.
but since it's part of like this hotel group, you have more resources, more experience instead of just like your like in a boutique hotel, you might be dealing with five people and none of them are really part of the hospitality. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. So that's the resort where you stayed at Unico. What was kind of the size of the resort? Was it, really large or was it sort of, a smaller intimate space? And then what were the grounds like? How was it situated, on the beach and those kinds of things?
Okay. So it is a very small resort in comparison to most. Unico is adults only, so you don't need all those extra things for the kids. And it's set up in kind of like a horseshoe shape with the like flat open end being on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
And when we were there, it was actually kind of rainy. And I figured out I could get clear from one end of the resort to the other, and with the lobby being at the opposite end of the ocean. And I could get clear around without ever leaving a building. It's all connected.
Okay.
So that was really nice because doing the tours, some of those others are a lot bigger. And we actually commented to each other, the other agents and I, that we're glad we didn't do that when it was the day that it was rainy because we would have just been soaked because there was a lot of inside, outside,
Uh-huh.
trying to get from one part of the resort to the other. Where there was one kind of little pool swim up, little buffet restaurant thing that was kind of out in the middle, out in the open, that we couldn't get to that. But everything else on property we could get to without getting rained on.
Yeah, see, that sounds like right up my alley. I know sometimes with those larger resorts, they have tons of things to do, and maybe there's more of a, somewhat of a like party atmosphere. And I definitely am more of a low key, just have some drinks and hang around the pool and be on the beach kind of person.
Yes. So there is a little bit of a beach there, but I would say it's not a resort for beachgoer. If you want
Okay.
to go walk on the beach, that's great. We also were dealing with the sargassum, the seaweed thing.
Yes. Yeah. I
It's
saw a
really bad.
bunch of
It's
those
all
pictures
over.
posted.
Yeah, it's all over Mexico right now. It's really bad. So they do have like a little stretch of beach right there. And you can go walk it and you can go play in the water if you wanted to. But there's also 3 nice pools on property. So it's like, well, do you
You can
really
see
want
the
to?
ocean and you have the ocean environment, but you're in a pool where you don't have to worry about the seaweed.
Exactly.
Is that section of the beach just for the people in that resort, or can anybody kind of walk through there?
Anybody can walk through there, but where they are situated in Riviera Maya, it is very private-ish. It's
Okay.
not like you don't have like your beach vendors trying to sell you stuff like you would in downtown Cancun.
Yeah.
Next door, there's one resort, and then I think on the other, there's not really anybody. So it's kind of very secluded, just the stretch of beach that they're on anyway.
Okay.
So that was really nice. I went out to the beach 2 or 3 times, and I might have seen a couple walking around, but the one time there was not a soul in sight. So
And that's good. I mean, because I mean, you're there in June, so it's not like, you're there in December. There just wasn't a ton of people there and it was pretty secluded even, during the summer months. That's nice.
yeah, and I think just the vibe of the whole resort was that way. There was one day that the pools were hopping and there were people around, but for the most part, it was pretty quiet. I didn't feel like it was crowded for a
Mhm.
lot of time. I was like, are there even people staying here?
Yeah. Right.
Because it was so quiet.
Okay. Well, that's good. I mean, that's good for people that want that type of environment. And then for people that don't, that people that want to be in the thick of things, this might not be the best option for them. So that's a good.
But if
So,
that is your jam, I think I would send you to Hard Rock Cancun. That place was, it was hopping. It was a party.
okay. I mean, that is, I would not probably want to be part of all of that just because of the way that if I were going to an all inclusive, I would want it to be like more relaxed.
Yes.
But those resorts are they close enough together that you would be able to go over there, or are you basically just in the resort the whole time?
I'm trying to think if they have privileges.
So there are
Some of
some
them,
resorts that you might have privileges to the others, but not
yes,
necessarily. We would just
yes.
have to
And
look at that specifically per resort.
yes. And UNICO is it's only like a 5-minute drive from the Hard Rock Riviera Maya.
Mm-hmm.
And then Hard Rock Cancun is about an hour away. And so
Oh,
is Ava
okay.
because they're more like near the airport.
Okay. So this one, I mean, that makes sense though, because they're just those other resorts that are a little bit more hopping, like you said, they're just not as secluded as this one specifically.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
Okay. So you mentioned the pools, that it had 3 great pools. What was the pool situation from the environment or the vibe? And also, did they have food and bar, or like, did you have, someone like a waiter or a server that would you could order and they could just bring it to you, that kind of thing?
Yes. So there are 3. There's one that's like a quiet pool that's kind of back behind a building. So it's kind of secluded. And then there are 2 large ones in the middle. There's one closer to the lobby. I would say it's just kind of like your normal pool. And right next to that, there's like it's like a grill. They have like a breakfast and lunch buffet, and you can like order food. Like as soon as I got there, my room wasn't ready, and I went straight there and ordered some fish tacos.
Okay.
Nice brain stew. And then there's the back pool. It's larger. There's a hot tub right next to it. It also has the swim up bar in it. And in the pool, there is like this big volleyball situation that everybody was having a ball with.
Okay. And
So,
volleyball. Okay.
yes. So there's no like slides, but there are like one day we had a cabana. So there are a bunch of cabanas around.
And those for rental, or is that kind of just a first come first serve? You like get your spot.
Those are additional, but they come with a food and drink credit.
Okay.
So basically what you're buying is the extra food and drink.
Okay. What about the pools in the ocean view? Is there an ocean view from all 3 pools or just one pool? If somebody's trying to get that, like where they want to see the ocean and the beach, but they don't want to actually be on the beach.
When this resort was built, they were all ocean view, but in the last few years all the vegetation has grown up. So they're not
I
like the
see.
ocean is on the other side of some trees.
Okay. So you get the breeze and all of that, but you don't necessarily see it.
Yes,
Okay.
which we were kind of grateful for the one day because it was super windy and the waves were choppy, but it was still pleasant in the pool area.
Okay. Well, and I've seen that too, just in general with some of the resorts that are built in that area. They're they have a ocean view description for their room, but they really don't have an ocean view because the vegetation has grown up so much that you can't actually see the ocean because of it.
Yes.
And
So
yeah.
with this, with an ocean view for the rooms, there's like one category that is top floor that they can guarantee, but if you're on the bottom floor, you're not going to see ocean. But the way it's set up, everything looks out that way. Like I had an ocean view
Mm-hmm.
and I was on the third floor. So, but when it's only 4 floors,
Yeah.
that
They
bottom one.
can't guarantee that it's going to be an ocean view if it's on one of the lower floors.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So just going on into, since you mentioned the rooms, what kind of room options do they have? A lot of times they have a suite or they have swim up pools. And you just talked about ocean view. So like what are our different options there at Unico?
Most rooms are just a single king because it is adults only,
Right.
more like couples.
Uh-huh.
But there are a handful of suites on property. So if you were having a big girls trip, like a bachelorette party, or this is a very popular site for weddings. So if you had a big wedding party and one had 3 beds in it, one had maybe 4 beds. So you can sleep 6 to 8 people in the suites.
In that suite.
Yes. So there are a few of those available. They don't have a lot of them, just the nature of the resort, but we can find them if you want them.
Yeah. And I'm thinking though, like if you're doing a wedding though, that you would block off a certain number of rooms, not
Yes.
necessarily
Yes.
suites, but most people that would be coming, they wouldn't be coming with their families because it's adults only. So that's how that would work anyway.
Yes. And as far as swim ups, there were most on the ground floor had a swim up.
Okay. Nice.
So like if you were back to the wedding party, if you had 6 or 8 rooms, how fun would it be if you had all ground floor swim ups and you ended up having like a private pool because it is shared between the 6 or 8.
Mm-hmm.
But if you all had that, you'd have your own private pool for the week.
Yeah, that sounds fun. I don't know. I think it would be a toss up for me because I would really want the ocean view. So I would probably want to have the top floor. So it would be tough for me to choose between
Yes.
those two. So
So if
what
you
was your room like in general, though?
so I walked in, I had a nice bathroom, had 2 sinks, it had like a big walk-in shower, it had its own little toilet water closet situation.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was a nice spacious king. Like these rooms are gorgeous. It had like a nice little couch and a chair. And then it had a big balcony with like a lounger and it has like a big jetted pool out there. Or not a pool, a tub.
That sounds
So
fun to
there
me.
were a lot of people
Yeah.
that they took great advantage of that big pool there on their
I'm
deck.
sure. I would want that ocean view with my tub and see you later, people.
Yes.
And I didn't mean to cut you off. You were going to say something before.
Well, I
About
was
the
going to talk
room.
about the tub on the like
Oh,
even if you
okay.
didn't have the swim up, every room that doesn't have a swim up has the big tub on the balcony. So
Okay. Let's see. Let's talk about activities, but we can start with like other things to do on the resort. We can talk about restaurants first and what the different options are, and are there reservations required, what's included and what's not included, because I know a lot of times in certain situations, if it's signature dining, it's not always included in the price. So what's that situation?
all of the restaurants on property were included.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
they have two that have like a breakfast and lunch buffet, and then dinner it's like a la carte, and you can kind of just order what you want. There are three like nice sit down. There's like a Mexican one, an Italian one, and then like a teppanyaki Japanese
Mm-hmm.
one. And then there's a cafe kind of by the lobby that it was like a coffee shop. It had like juice bar and it had like fun little like pastries and like breakfast sandwich kind of things.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to ask. I need to know the coffee, setup.
Yeah, that was probably your go-to place. There were like they had coffee in the room, obviously, but that was the place.
Not the same as an espresso. Mm-mm. When you have to do like a Keurig or something, it's just not the same.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you did talk about that you did there were some bars were the bars separate or were just part of the restaurants?
So they're kind of scattered about. So there's 6 bars and lounges. So there's one that's kind of like a part of the lobby area that we'd all kind of hang out in. It's very chill. Didn't really like seem like a bar. But then there's another one that's full on bar where they have nighttime entertainment and shows. So yeah, just kind of spread out throughout.
Okay. What about some of the other things that you can do on site? Like what's included and what's not? Like, are there day excursions that you can add on for extra, or are there things that are automatically included, like scuba or like day trips to somewhere, like those kinds of things? What kind of things do they have, or a spa? Any of those?
So spa is extra, but booking through us as a travel agent, we can get you 40% off the
Nice.
spa, which is a nice little perk. They do have land and water sports. The water sports would be kind of like a stand-up paddleboard, kayaking, like non-motorized.
Mm-hmm.
I think I saw snorkel gear laying around.
Are those included?
Those are included.
Okay. Nice.
So we have like a daily host kind of dude that would text me every day the activities for the day. So
Okay.
I'm just going to run through one day of activities.
Okay.
So you had cardio dance, you had rebounding workout, aqua spinning, hydro Pilates, basketball, floating poker, beer pong, artisano experience, live music, bingo, silent dance party, and a live DJ.
Okay.
So every day, those activities change. So you kind of really don't repeat. Like if you're there a week, Sunday to Saturday, you don't really repeat the same things every single day. It's always switched up a little bit. So you don't get bored. It's always new activities. But I feel like there was so much going on that we were like, shoot, I don't have time to get to this or that because we're also there to work. But
Right. You were getting information, so it was harder to do
yes,
some of the activities.
yes. But it was so fun to see like, oh, they're doing dance lessons. They're doing Zumba. They're doing pool volleyball. They're doing the spinning in the pool, all different things that they had every single day. They had an art activity in the lobby. They have a little lady there that would like paint. We had hats, like sun hats included in our room, and we could take them to her. She was there 3 days a week and she would write and draw on them. So I got mine with my name on it with like a little sea turtle.
Yeah, it's very cute. We'll have to post some of the pictures this coming week as part of getting information out about the podcast. We'll have to make sure we post a lot of the pictures that you took because it was absolutely gorgeous. The setup and the grounds was absolutely beautiful. I want to go back to, you mentioned your host. So what did your host do as part of their responsibilities? Did he help you check in? What all did he do?
He was there and I met him on check-in. We do check in with they need like to see your ID or whatever when you get there.
Mm-hmm.
He was just basically around for whatever what is their services include assistance with checkout, late checkout request, cabana reservations, tour golf spa and salon reservations, special events or occasions. They will pack and unpack your clothes, shoe cleaning,
Okay.
ironing, steaming, laundry services, any cleaning requests, your spa tub preparation, bag pickup at checkout. Those are like their main things. But then, like, I texted him and was like, hey, can someone find me a Diet Coke? Because it's a Pepsi. So, kind of everything. They're not really like your butler concierge, but they're available if you have questions. Like, they're your go to person.
Yeah. Yeah, that's neat. So you mentioned golf. So they did have golf and did they have any other types of things? So did they have like tennis and you also mentioned volleyball, like for people that like to do, sports type stuff. What else did they have?
Yes. So, not anything on property, but they have like a vacation planners that you can find and get tours. So, they have they're partnered with Hard Rock, obviously. So they have the Hard Rock Golf Club in Riviera Maya. So
Okay.
that's just down the street. Then they are also partnered with Riviera Cancun Golf Club, which is about an hour away.
Okay.
And then you're really close to Tulum. So you have all kinds of so these are all additional, but you could do like a luxury day sailing. You could do a sunset sailing. You could do a Tulum curated boat tour. You could do an underground river, like the cenotes,
Mm-hmm.
zip line, swim with dolphins, Tulum and dolphin interaction, snorkel express, Isla Mujeres experience. So there's a lot around, and they have like their little partners that they work with, just so you know you're getting like a trusted guide and a trusted.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like if even though it is kind of low key and secluded, you also have the option, you have lots of activities if you choose to do those activities. So you could choose really to just kind of chill, or you could but you also have lots of things to do if you
Yes.
want to have a day that you're not just like hanging out by the pool.
Yes. So you can make it as busy or as relaxing as you want, which is kind of the thing that I like about all inclusives is if you want to go and sit on your butt all week and not do a single thing, you don't have to. But if
Yep.
you want to go explore and get the like local experience, you can do that as well.
Yeah. Okay. What about, I think you did mention there was some shows with the bars, but was it like I'm thinking like, comedians or magicians or not necessarily a Broadway show, but you know what I'm saying, like stuff like that? Or was it just basically like musical or musicians type shows?
So they have an app, which is actually very helpful. I'm looking on their app. It's like on Mondays, they have a Latin show. Tuesday is the silent dance party. Wednesday is the retro show. Thursday, mini golf. Friday, cabaret. Saturday, silent dance party. Sunday, live music. And I know that these switch every couple of weeks. So, like, if you were there in January and you go back in June, you're going to have a different experience.
You're going to have a different rotation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I know that you mentioned this particular resort, UNICO, is adult only, but you did tour a couple of other resorts in the area that were family friendly. I know we can't get into too much of detail because it's just too much to cover. But did you have a particular one that you thought was really like, I would like to bring my family to this specific resort because you liked everything about it when you toured?
Yes. So there were pros and cons to all the other three that I toured, and all the other three were family friendly. And I think it would just depend on your family dynamic, what you're looking to get out of your vacation, and your budget.
Okay.
Because I think there's something for every single person between the other three.
Well, that's good to know because I mean, not every family has the same priorities.
Yes.
Everybody has a different priority in how they want to do their vacation. That's good to know that there are options.
So the newest one, Ava, they are just barely soft opening and training staff. And we are some of the very first travel agents to even see it. So part of it's still under construction. So I would say probably end of the year, first of next year before I
One
dare
there.
send families there
Yeah.
and for them to get the like full experience out of it.
Right.
But I really like that for my family situation at our point in time in life. They are going to have babysitting for infants, which most resorts it's 3 or 4 or above. So if you have a 2-year-old, you're just out of luck. But not at AVA. They are going to cover all ages, which I thought was neat. They have things like bowling and a movie theater, and they have a really cool zero entry bay because the spot that they're on the beach, they just barely got permission in the last 2 weeks to even touch the beach.
Mm.
So you have very great beach views right now, but it's just like this massive pool, but it doesn't smell or it's not like chlorine. It's like this amazing technology. I don't even know how to explain it that would make sense to anybody, but it's zero entry. You can do like stand up paddleboarding and do stuff in it. But I could sit with Reese, my baby, in the kids section on the little play structure in the pool and I could see my husband and my son across the way, and we're not separated. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
They also had really cool rooms that it's kind of like a little kid's bed with a trundle that had its own little door. So they feel like they have their own little room, and there's like stars on the ceiling, and it's very cutely done, but you're not on top of each other,
Okay.
but you're all still in the same room per se.
Okay. That's good to know too, because I think a lot of times when you go on vacation, one of the things is whatever room you're in, you are all piled on top of each other and having a little bit of space. Just you're all together, but you have some space to spread out is nice.
Yes. And then that one also had a hot tub on the balcony with chairs. So I could put the kids to bed and then we could go out on the balcony and still have like adult time and not feel like we're missing out on anything because our kids are tired and ready for bed.
Okay.
The other one at Hard Rock, Riviera Maya, like I mentioned earlier, it's one of the top rated in all of Mexico. They have a full on water park that's included with your stay.
Wow.
Big, huge slides, the whole shebang.
So probably older kids. If you have
Yes. So like if you
eight,
have
nine,
like
10-year olds kind of age
yes, like
range.
preteen to teenager, this is the place. So like Calder, my 8-year-old, he would be perfect all the way up to probably teenagers. But then they also have this big, I don't want to call it a warehouse, but it's like this big building that houses climbing wall, jump park, laser tag, an arcade, like video games, bowling, this whole place. So like if it's raining, and you're like, what do I do now? You have like this
Yeah.
whole indoor thing to keep them busy.
And that's
So
included in the price of the resort.
so that is not, but you can get a play card and put so much money on it.
Okay.
So you can kind of prepay for that. And then
But the water park is included, just not
the
that
water park is
activities
included.
warehouse. Okay.
Yes.
The water park is a very nice feature because
Yes.
I think my girls, that's probably what they would do every day. If I let them, if I didn't say, no, you're going to come over here and do this, they would be in the water park every day.
Yes. So with that resort, there are also a couple pools that have like a slide that you can be out there and see the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are like adult only pool sections. So that one, there's a dozen different pools. You can be somewhere different every single day and not see the same pool twice. Some of those Hard Rocks, they do have more like one has a pickleball court, one has tennis courts. Obviously, Hard Rock Riviera with the golf course, like it's on property. So those ones have more of your sport activities.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The Hard Rock in general just has
Yes.
more
Yes.
options. Okay.
Yes.
So with the one, I mean, I know that you toured those three. So kind of going
Mhm.
back to UNICO where you stayed, what was what's your most favorite feature or experience from that resort? And then what would be your least favorite thing? Like something that you wish that they would do differently?
Hmm. I really just like the vibe. And it's a very Instagram beautiful resort.
Mm-hmm.
So it felt very luxury,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but it
Yeah. It
doesn't
looked
price
very
out.
upscale.
Yes, and it doesn't price out to be over the top luxury. I just priced something in December for 7 days and we're like at $4,000, which is very comparable to a lot of all inclusives. My least favorite, I would just say that it rained the whole time, but that's not even their fault.
What about the Wi-Fi? Didn't you have trouble with the Wi-Fi?
I did have Wi-Fi issues at first, but I think it's because when I first got there, I didn't have a room, so I was using Wi-Fi as a guest. And once that thing expired and I actually put my room number in, my Wi-Fi was a 9-day difference.
Okay. Okay.
So probably my least favorite thing was just that my room was not ready. I got there at 2:30, 3 o'clock, and I waited till 4 o'clock to get in my room, which is normal
It's
if check-in
standard.
is at 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was kind of like, well, I would like to change. I should just thought ahead better and have a day bag and had a swimsuit and jumped right in the pool.
Yeah. So that's maybe something just in general, like make sure that you have that. It's
Yes.
similar though to a cruise, kind of same
Yeah.
thing. if you want to get in the pool or you want to do something, you may not have your stateroom may not be ready or your bags may not be ready. So have a bag that you can bring with you that has everything in it.
Yeah. So that was probably more on me than on anything. I just didn't think ahead to do that.
Okay.
And just, I wish I would have had more time. Like I said, I was there working, so I was only there 3 nights. But they have like a full on fitness center. And I walked in the spa, but I didn't use the spa. And there was just a lot of things I felt like I was like, shoot, I wish I had more time to do that. So I don't know if I would do it if it's worth a flight down for a weekend, maybe more 4 or 5 days. I don't know if I'd want to stay there like 8 or 9 days just because it is a smaller resort. So I think 6 to 8 is probably a great sweet spot.
Okay. So what does it look like to book this resort? So if we wanted to help someone with booking, what would that look like? What does the deposit look like? What's final payment? How does that part work?
Basically, just tell me your dates and what you're looking for. For this one, it's kind of really straightforward. The other ones, like I said, it just kind of depends on what your family dynamic is and what you're looking for to get out of your vacation. Deposit would be $200. And then kind
With
of
$100 per
typical,
person, basically.
yeah, yeah. Let's see. I was trying to see. I think it's probably 30 days prior
Okay.
for final payment.
Okay. Do you need to make reservations or book excursions or anything like that beforehand? Or is that something that's easy to do on site?
It is easy to do on site, but if there is something that is going to make or break your trip, I would say let's do it as soon as possible, just so you're guaranteed. But like with us, with the weather, things were kind of up in the air. I know
Mhm.
things got canceled and moved. So I would say probably 30 to 60 days out. If there's one thing that is like, I have to do this or my trip will be ruined, like I have to go to Tulum, then let's look and talk to the vacation planners and I can do that for you
Okay.
and just see what they recommend for the time of year. If it's going to be rainy season, if there's a day of the week that might be better. Obviously, they're the experts. They
Right.
do this every single day.
Right.
I would just say it's not necessary. Like your trip is not going to be make or break if you don't have reservations, like Disney dining.
What about packing? Are there dress codes or is it pretty laid back? Do you have to bring certain things for certain nights or certain restaurants if you wanted to plan on doing certain things?
So you can wear, they just started letting men wear golf shorts and a polo to restaurants at this particular resort. Some still require long pants and closed toed shoes. So no matter what all inclusive you go to, there's some sort of dress code,
Mhm.
whether it's cover up while you're at the pool bar, the pool restaurant buffet.
Mhm.
They don't want you walking around in your bikini. So just throw on like the little swim cover up things,
Mhm.
throw a t-shirt on. This one is what they're nicer. I would say I didn't ever see like a dress code sign. And there were people wearing shorts and there were people wearing, but you're also going to a nice restaurant. So what would you do at home?
Right. Right. Yeah. Maybe use your best judgment on some of those. It might not be specifically stated, but it's kind of an unspoken rule that
Yes.
you're not going to walk in flip-flops and a t-shirt to a really nice restaurant.
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything that we didn't cover that you would like to make sure that our listeners know about this particular resort or group of resorts that you were able to see? Any final nuggets?
I would just say keep them on your radar because especially Ava, I think it's going to be kind of a sleeper sleeper resort for the first couple of years and give it a shot. There's so many fun things. And honestly, I felt so safe being in Cancun. And I was going as a blonde, white woman by myself. Like I felt completely safe and I would take my kids back
Okay.
tomorrow.
That's good to know. We have not experienced an all inclusive as a family. So, it sounds absolutely wonderful to me for either a couple's trip or, one of the other resorts that you looked at that has family friendly environments. All of it sounds fantastic to me. I
As
can't
I'm
wait to
excited
be
to.
able
I
to
told
experience.
John, I said we're going back to UNICO as soon as we can.
Yeah, I would love it. I mean, the pricing is not crazy over the top, for
Mm-mm.
staying for a week. That was not crazy.
No, and to have all your food and drinks included, you're going to be paying that
Yeah.
when you put it pen to paper. Whether you're staying in the United States in a hotel and you're eating out and drinking out every single meal, or having it all wrapped in.
Well, you can't stay at a beach house on any beach that I know of for $4,000 for the week. That doesn't include any food. It doesn't it doesn't include any of those things. It includes no activities. It includes nothing. And you
Yeah,
may or may not get a pool, So
yeah.
I think that's a fantastic deal for that type of situation.
I would say if you're looking for Thanksgiving, Christmas ideas, jump on that starting now, if not already. I know it's popular for a lot of people to head down during the holidays,
It
kind of
is, yeah,
escape.
Thanksgiving for sure.
So if you want it, let's do it. Send us an email. We'll get it booked.
Okay. Well, I think that is it for this week. As we've already mentioned, please let us know if you have any questions, if there's anything that we did not cover and you have burning questions about, we would be happy to help answer those for you. And we will chat with you again next week. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Wanderlust and Wishes.
If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform.
And remember, the world is full of wonders waiting to be explored. Until next time, happy travels.
Bye for now.